Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, today I've got a new bike. This one was actually given to me by a friend, and he just wanted to get it out of his shop, and he just didn't have enough time to mess with it, and he knew that I did this, and he just said, take it. And the cherry on top, it's got a title. So I really have not got any experience with these. This is a 75 Yamaha 175. I think they refer to it as a DT175. The only DTs I've had any experience with are the 250s, the older ones. So the series of DT125, 175, 250, 400, I think, those I really have. That was after I went into service, and I just I didn't mess with any of them. I saw them. I saw some of them run. They look like they run pretty good, but I have absolutely no experience with them. But they look very similar. The top end and stuff, I'm sure, is a little bit different. I've heard that the porting's different, and they got more power and more speed. Pretty much everything's better. But right now, all we want to do is see if the thing will start, and kind of see what we're going to have to do to move it along, get it. I'm not going to restore it, I don't think, but I'll repair everything. I'll probably put fork seals in it, and it sure needs a sprocket and chain and that sort of thing. But at this time, let's get on down there, take a look at this thing, and we'll see if we can get it running. Okay guys, 1975 Yamaha DT175. I got a friend that just wanted this thing out of his garage, so I haven't had one given to me in a long time. But this one is, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. It's just been neglected. And, I can see some things that have transpired on this bike that, you just kind of wonder why they did it, and then why they did it the way they did it. He didn't do any of this stuff. He got it this way before he gave it to me. So, actually, the bike looks pretty complete. The only thing that I know of that it's missing is a tail light. Tail light bracket, the whole thing back there. So let me get you handheld here. Let's walk around. Okay, what I've noticed is that they had stripped everything off of this thing just about and made a dirt bike out of it. So the headlight was off of it. These instruments were on there, but I'll show you in a minute what happened with them. But pretty much all the wiring has been taken off, and it's just it's been a dirt bike. But the good news is almost everything is here. Original fender. The fork's just leaking, looks like. I tried to put some air in the front tire. It won't take any. So that tells me there's something probably wrong with the tube there. And I've got somebody put a sticker up here, a label maker, premium or premixed fuel only. Okay. And then I look down here and I see the cable missing, and the tank disconnected. I don't know whether there's a pump in there or not. We'll take a look. Side panel's there. The tank is there. No dents in that. This tank is in pretty good shape. I think there was a dent on the other side. I can't remember. We'll get around there. But it just, looks pretty good. got compression, it ought to run. You know I'm not a big advocate of checking compression unless there's a real issue, but I mean, most of the time on a two-stroke especially, you can just tell. You can tell if there's enough there to start that engine. Most of the manufacturers don't give you what compression should be on these anyway. It's very rare that you see that. You know, most of the time you need probably around 85, 90 to get one running. 130 is probably better. We've got an intact muffler system. Looks like the spark arrestor's in there too. We've got a rack. I'm not real familiar with these bikes. Anything after 73 is kind of new to me. I don't know whether these came with these or whether or not this is an earlier model rack. It may just fit, I don't know. But like I said, I don't have the tail light, and it looks like that is pretty much the same as a 72, 73 with the long back arm on the tail light. And I believe they're supposed to have the round one with the kind of ring around it that sticks out. So it's, but I think the 72, 73 will also fit. Looks like we're well worn on our sprocket, no chain on it. Back tire does hold air. Rim's look in really good shape, spokes look good. Just been setting out. I don't know whether there was a cover on this side. I wonder if this is the toolbox. I don't know. But I have a feeling there's a cover that goes here too. So that's missing, if that's the case. The carburetor really looks nasty, and it's disconnected. And the boot, air cleaner boot, is missing, but I think I've got one that's just hard as a rock. Yeah, just a little dent right here. But, oh, not looking good. Not at all. Ooh, that stinks too. Okay. That's a pretty common problem with these things. There again, the headlight was off. I put that back on. This ear was a little bent, so I straightened it back up. And you can see, looks like plastic here on the instruments. Let me get up there and we'll take a look at this. Okay, seat cover, we need a new one. This one's in good shape, it's just not what we're used to seeing. But you can see here that somebody has knocked the glass out of both of these. What a shame. And looks like there's a broken bolt right here. So I don't know what was going on there. Clutch feels kind of sticky and stiff, so I guess we need to look and see if we have any oil in there. Throttle cable bent right here. Still works, a little stiff. And the front brake, it's working. Looks like we got a broken bolt right here on the heat shield. I got a bunch of tape down here. So not too bad. Anyway, I've seen a lot worse, and it actually seems pretty complete. Okay, you see that, all that wire? I believe this to be the entire wiring loom, except for what's needed probably with the coil. They got the horn here, flasher, got signal lights. Most of them are there and complete. Here's the air cleaner boot. It's so hard you could make, I don't know, you could call it a rock probably, and both of the clamps. But this looks like the connector that goes right back here. I don't know if you can see it or not. I can just see part of it. So that's probably the tail light that goes back that way. And this stuff looks like signal light wiring right there. And this is just the rest of what needs to be on there to run all the electrics. So let's take a peek underneath the seat and see what's under there. Okay, air cleaner cover and the fill for the oil tank that's open. We sure don't want to put any in it. Okay, so I guess the first thing we need to do is just see if it's got some fire. Oh, I was going to show you. I did get a few extra signal lights, looks like for later model 78, 77, maybe 76. And looks like there's an extra spark arrestor in there and a few small parts. And I did get on eBay and found a replacement gauge set. So we'll at least be able to get some on there with some lenses on them. And I think these will clean up okay with a little steel wool. Just takes a little work. They weren't too expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and put these signal lights, wires, or lights back in here. And the parts that we have. And let me get you on the stand here and let's see if we got any spark. Okay, we do have a switch here. Run is down, so we'll put that in that position. And we also have a key up here, so I'll put that in the middle position. And then we'll just check every position and see whether things work or don't work. Alright, nothing there. Let's okay, turn the key off. Still nothing. Turn the key back on. Turn the switch to off. Nothing. Turn the switch to on again. Nothing. Okay. So we've got issues in the spark department. So I'm going to pull the tank and do some looking under there, see what's going on. I've just got a feeling that it's probably going to be I think this one's got points. So if they still have points, it probably needs a good cleaning at least. Let's take a look under the oil cover, see if we've got a pump. Oh, I see it's full of water in there. That's exciting. Look at that. Not a very good sign in my opinion. Holy cow, how much water can be in that hole? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oil too. Oh boy. Well, looks like the pulley's missing off the pump. And instead of just undoing the cable, they cut it, looks like. Wonder where the other end of it is. Yeah, pretty bad. Probably the best thing to do is just try to find a pump. I assume these have some kind of a pulley. I don't know. The pump actually looks a little different than the ones I'm used to. The ones I used to don't have this snout, so it is a little bit different looking. Oh boy. Those pumps are, even though they're used, getting expensive. Look at all that mess that came out of there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and drain the transmission. I'm just, seeing what I just saw there, kind of makes me worry. So far it looks good, but the water will be on top of the oil. Okay, I think we're going to look out there. I'll probably just put that oil back in it for now. Looks okay. Well, that's not looking good. Yeah. Looks pretty crusty. Just well get that off, I guess. Pretty raunchy in there. Actually, the lobe doesn't look too bad, but gee whiz. I think that's supposed to move on that one. Yeah. Let me soak that and see what I can do. Got a feeling that thing's stuck big time. Looks pretty nasty up inside. Got a lot of rust and whatnot up there. Looks like it's been into once, at least. You can see the screws are kind of messed up. But that maybe kind of looks factory, so I'm sure that it needs a condenser. Okay, let's kind of try to get something in there to see if it'll break all that rust loose. It's supposed to move in there, I'm pretty sure. Okay, let's see about getting the snap ring off. Oh boy. Let's get some more in there. We'll let that soak for a little while longer. I'm just going to try to, if I can keep that from sticking to it, just try to jar that. There, it looks like it's moving. There she comes. Looks pretty rusty in there. And on here. So I think I'll go and clean the oil out of all this with solvent, and then we'll just stick all that stuff in the metal rescue. And we'll give that a couple days and see what it looks like. Thanks guys, don't forget to thumbs up. Yeah, well, that looks pretty nice. Looks like it's done quite the job. Let me get my gloves and we'll get into it. Looks like still got a little on the face there. Oh, this looks good back here though. Yeah. Yeah, that's good enough for that. It got what we needed done right back here. Yeah. I'm going to rinse that with some water. I don't think you have to, but I always do. I just rinse it with clean water. Just use a spray bottle. Oops, boy, almost lost it. Oh, that looks pretty good back there, and looks like everything moves. And I think what I'll do is just take a little WD-40. Just kind of apply it to this mechanism here, up in that taper also, and in the mechanism there. And same here. This was very lucky that this didn't rust right there, and that's the real workings of this thing, that and the inside. Let's see if this, oh yeah, oh nice. Yeah, caught that just in time. Okay, we've got everything working again here, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back together and see what we've got. These coils look okay. I think the condenser, I don't know. I think I better replace it. Let me see if I've got one. Yeah, I hate to do a lot of replacing without checking. That way, you just don't know what you've done to fix anything. But in this case, I think I need to go ahead and do this. Number one, it's because I'm already in here. But you can see here, there was some kind of a, that's some kind of pucky or something that was over the top of this. And it's all loose. There, you see that coming out. And I don't know whether I've really got a condenser that is for this. If it'll fit in there, it'll work. Yeah, I'm satisfied this is probably an original, but I'm not, not positive. But I do have one, and I'm hoping that will, I believe it will fit in there. So we'll see. It looks like about the same thing. How about that? You see this little cover here. It's probably there to keep you, because the condenser is so small, but it's all broke. I just don't know whether, whether the condenser is any good. So we'll just replace it, and I don't have any way to insulate that like they did. Not right offhand anyway. So we'll just have to try to be careful how we hook everything up. Okay, and like I said, I hate to put or change a lot of things, but I'm in here. So I want to look at the seal. See if I can get these out without having to drill them out. Boy, they're stuck too. That one is. I can't believe I can't get it to budge with my impact. Huh. Yeah, I just broke my tool apex. And it's most of it's stuck in there. I'll be darned. I don't know what I'm going to do there. I just bought that impact too. That's a snap-on. Can you believe that? Well, I got the top one. It came loose, but the bottom one just isn't going to do it. So I'm going to drill it out, and hopefully there'll be a piece that I can get a hold of. There it is. I believe this one's been replaced. That's probably why the screws were so boogered up. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to try a left-handed drill bit. Maybe a smaller one. There it is. There it is. All right, that's nice. They don't often do that. I think what it is these things get so corroded on the taper that there's so much surface area there that they just don't want to come loose. But anyhow, got that one out without too much fanfare. And I don't see anything leaking here. And I believe that this seal has just been replaced. You know, it's probably been 20 years ago. Oh man. But I'm just going to try to get some of this rust off of that crankshaft right there. Okay, like I say, if I need to, I can get back in there now and replace it, but you know, it's not seeping or anything, so I'm going to call it good right now. And let's get all that crap out of there. There's one that came out. Looks like it right there. So we'll get a couple of those. I'm just going to put a little film. I don't want a bunch of it back there, making a mess of things. I think you're seeing it now. Okay, don't need to do anything with that. Looks like we've got a choke that's broke off. The knob's off of, it's bent. I think I've got some of those. Let's Get this out of there. Let's see if it's loose first. Looks like I got to get the carburetor tilted a little. Okay. Looks like all that's there. Yeah. It sure needs something done to it, so we'll just, I know that we would end up doing it anyway, so just as well do it now. Okay, I noticed the main jet holder. It's got a bunch of, just a homemade gasket. I don't know whether it was working or not. I think I've got some of the aluminum washers, so we'll see. I also notice here that the idle adjustment is missing. Might be able to come up with something. At least I think it's the right carburetor. I think these were all black. But, you know, so were the, what, 72 and 73. Oh boy. Okay. You don't want to beat on these too bad. I've had some of these. What do we got here? I think it's okay. This type is real fragile. I broke one once and I've been careful ever since. Okay, sometimes you can just get a blade in right here. Yeah, there it comes. Be real careful. Okay, I think it's loose. It's probably held on with the O-ring in the middle. Yeah, there we go. Well, not too bad. So far, anyhow. Yeah, you can see the O-ring is all smashed down. That's what was holding us up, I think. Looks real good. Let's continue on and see what the parts look like. Oh boy, dragging a bunch of crap out of there. Oh boy. You know, I think I'm probably going to use some heat on that, where the pilot jet is. It's tighter than they usually are. Oh boy, even the air screw, it's gummy. Yeah. It's getting tight as I bring it out. Let me get some Kroll oil and see if I can. Some of these have O-rings on them, and I don't know whether this is one of them or not. After a while they get bound up. I think it's coming. I'm using my gunsmithing screwdrivers here. They get right down to the bottom and they don't have any angles on them, so I'm going to have to dig the spring out of there. And what have we got here on the choke? Sometimes those things are reluctant to come out too. And that one, the plunger's in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get some crow oil down in there, and we'll start with it. This is probably not any good. It's all bent. So I think I've got some of those, so we'll get a pair of pliers on that after it soaks a little bit and just try to twist it. Okay, that came out pretty easy, but it's this one is probably a little bit different. I don't know, maybe not. I'll see what I've got. Anyhow, we got that one out. I put a little crow oil on the pilot jet, and we'll I think I'm going to get my little pin torch and heat that up a little bit and see if I can get that out. Just a little pin torch, just so we can heat up that area. There we go. Just got to take it easy with these things. I broke a couple off, and you know, most of the time it means you're going to get a new casting. But I have the last one I did, I was able to get it out. I actually did a video on it. It's probably about 3 years ago, but I think it's listed under remove a broken pilot jet. And it's had a lot of views, so I figure I'm probably not the only one that's ever done it. Okay, I think we've got everything removed from it, except that spring. Where's it? Yeah, it's still in here. Let me see if I can find something to fish that out with. Okay, got that out of there. Okay, so we're just missing the idle screw. Okay, while the carb's soaking, let's go ahead and get the tank and all that, and let's see what the wiring's like. If they took all this off, they must have jerry-rigged something. Okay, everything, no oil in it that I can tell. Here's, oh, we've got tape. I don't like tape. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to thumbs up. That was pretty easy. Oh, more tape. Oh boy, that's the way to delete oil pump. They wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to work, so they disconnected, or actually cut the cable coming out of the junction. Alright, so I guess I'm going to have to make a cable. And yeah, a lot of tape here. Probably going to have to make a complete tape cable. Because remember, this one is bent up here, this piece here. So we'll try to straighten it, but if it won't straighten, then it'll probably break. So we'll be probably making a new cable for this whole thing. Let's go take a look at the tank. I hear a lot of stuff moving in there, but it doesn't sound like liquid. Oh boy. That's what's coming out of here. I think it might be dried up oil. Yeah, oil and gas, along with a little rust. That might have saved this tank. Because really, I'm not seeing anything on the bottom. Okay, this comes from the magneto side. It's this wire going across the engine right here. So what do we got here? A little box, little square thing. Huh. Oh. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's the symbol for a diode, one way. Now what is all this about? Let me, let's see. This black wire goes right here to this junction, and then, okay, that goes up to the handlebar switch. Okay, so that's off on up there. The other one goes to the coil, I bet. Let's go over there and look. Yep, that's it right there. Okay, so let me get that untaped. Oh boy, nice. Okay, I guess that should work. As long as the switch is in the run position on the handlebar, yeah, this should work okay. It's kind of cobbled up. Well, we'll end up getting the loom back on, but at least we should be able to get spark if the magneto's working and the coil works and all that other stuff. I went ahead and pulled the slide out. A lot of dirt in here, a lot of dirt on top of the hold down. I think we had a lot of dirt that has been introduced into the engine. So I think we better take a look at the air filter now. Well, Actually looks pretty good. I have a feeling it must have been the boot. It just wasn't connected good or something. Because it just, everything, you know, as dirty as that carburetor was and everything, I'm glad to see this. You know, that's reasonably clean and reasonably new, I believe. We'll leave that out for now. Okay, the pilot jet was indeed plugged up on that, but with my little needle drills here, we've got it cleaned out. It's pretty small, and there, like I said, there was no idle screw. I found one on eBay, and I just I went ahead and made one for the time being out of aluminum. Of course, they're supposed to be brass, but I don't have any brass, so that's what I did. So I think we've got this all cleaned up, so we can go ahead and start putting it back together. It actually looks pretty close. Oops. I'm just not wanting to snap on there. There. See how that does. I'm just going to put a little oil on it. That way it'll slip into this hole here a little easier. Okay, looks like that should be it. That really needs to be a good fit, good tight fit, because that's drawing fuel from through your main jet right here. If you don't have that seal, you're not going to be able to get enough fuel. And I'll just set this, I'm not sure what it's supposed to be, but I'll set it at 1.5 to start with. Usually that's about right. 1.5. Okay. Now we've got to get our main jet in. And I just came up with a couple of these fiber washers. I probably only need one. That's what I'm going to try. And we'll see if that'll tighten up. And I'll just stick a little oil on that thread too, just to ensure no galding. Okay, looks like it's sealing up, so that should work. And other than that, we've got just our slide and all that stuff. Let me put this one back up. All right, let's see what we do here. I'm gonna turn some fuel loose. There it comes. Just see if we got any leaks. Yeah, got a little hit. Give it another squirt. Well, I don't know. Well, I'm seeing some. I don't know whether you did. I see some on this plug, so we'll give that a try. Still have the choke on. I don't know what the racing's all about. Maybe it needs some seals. I don't know what the racing's all about. Maybe it needs some seals. At least I had a shut off there. Oh. It's pumping. So everything's in there. Just missing that pulley, I think. Okay guys, there you have it. We've got a runner. Apologize for the length of this video, but a little more wrong with it than most of them, and just had to go through the troubleshooting process until we got it all figured out. We had all that rust around the flywheel and the points in there. Really didn't set the points. All I did was just, well, I used a feeler gauge to set the points. That's all I did. So it really probably needs some timing, and of course it needs the air cleaner all hooked up, and probably some tuning with the carburetor. But at this point, it's just a runner, and that's a good thing. You know, we've got a pretty complete bike here. It's just going to need all the normal stuff, you know, fork seals and tires and tubes, and don't know what we're going to need to do here. Maybe nothing, you know. It may be a little bit noisy on the top end. I really don't know. These sound a little different than the 72 and 73. This one sounds pretty throaty. You know, it sounds like it's probably got some grunt. But I need to find some parts for the pump. It's sitting here running, and there's oil coming out of it, but I'm sure it's probably going to need some work. And I've got to make some cables for it, the oil pump cable, and the whole thing all the way up to the grip, because it's bent up there. But I think this will be a pretty nice bike. And like I said, this is the first time I've ever dealt with these. You know, 73 is usually my where I stop, my experience stops, and there's a lot of similarities here. I understand that the top end will, I think on this model will, yeah, it's got the 4 bolts, that it will fit on the 72 and 73, but those are strong running engines themselves, so I don't know what really is the point. Some people say that the porting is better on these. I don't know. If you know, let me know if you would. It's just just a different bike. You know, usually when things get newer, they get a little better. Not always, but sometimes. So there you go. Thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.